Hello there, and welcome. It's LaShanda here, aka Sister Sense. Thank you for catching me live and also for checking the replay. Hello, welcome. Hello, welcome. Why is this always not where it needs to be? Good morning. Hello, Leslie. Good morning. Hi, Kanika. Welcome. It's LaShanda Henry here, aka Sister Sense. Oh, hi, night. Hello, beautiful lady. Good morning. Good evening, good afternoon for those of you watching the replay. It's LaShanda Henry here, aka Sister Sense. And of course, you know when I jump on Periscope, it's about that fire. Drop that into the comment box. Hi, Ayoka. Welcome. Good morning. Guys, it's a sad day. It's a sad day. You'll be calling me awesome. It's sad because today is day 20. Can you believe it? It's day 20 of my 21 days sharing 21 amazing ways to monetize now. I don't know how it's possible that the time goes by this quickly. But we've got one more day left in this particular series. For those of you who have been watching me, I hope you have been enjoying it. Welcome to you, sister. I hope you've been enjoying the series. Tomorrow is the last day, day 21. As you know, this is all inspired by my Back to Business webinar conference happening over at backtobusiness.me, the place to be. And literally 3 days, we're going to have our virtual conference for women entrepreneurs. 12 amazing ladies talking about what you need to do to monetize now. So I said, what better way to get folks excited about that than to jump on here every day and talk about one thing you can strategically do to monetize. So yesterday we were talking about how you can get paid to teach. We've talked about how you could get paid with free. We talked about how you could get paid for people picking your brain, get paid to speak in unconventional ways. You name it, we've been talking about it here. Today I am going to talk about how to get paid by creating connections. Thank you, Kanika, for tweeting this out in the hearts and sharing it with your following. I appreciate you guys. Again, if you've got some entrepreneurs in your circle and you feel like this is something they would like to know, tap on them hearts, tweet it out, let people know. Join us. It's the sense, all about that monetization, making sense of making money online. Okay, we take the monetize, we take the now, and we put them together. You gotta monetize now, right? A dream deferred is not something that we want. We want action that you can say you've been able to turn into results. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about today this idea, yes, now, N-O-W, right? I wanted to talk about today this idea of connections and how you can get paid by creating connections for people. Because honestly, one of the hardest things for the everyday person, not even just the business person, the entrepreneur, one of the hardest things for people is finding the right people. What's the call sheet website? The call me page, my call me page, callme.sistersense.com. Is that what you're asking about? If that's not what you're, okay, callme.sistersense.com. There you go. Awesome. It's really hard to find the right people. It's almost like a headache, you know. The minute something happens, like God forbid, you know, a pipe bursts in your house, you're like, okay, God, now I gotta go find a janitor. I gotta go find a plumber. It's a janitor. You know, something happens and you're like, something unfortunate happens and you have to go to court and it's like, oh my God, now I have to find a lawyer. Like finding the right people. Even when people come to me and they're, LaShanda, can you help me with my website? Because they're like, oh my God, I have to find somebody. I don't know. If they say that you're really good at what you do, finding the right people for just about every and anything is an absolute headache. And so if you're one of those people who, like myself, if you are somebody who has a lot of amazing people around you, and not only that you have a lot of amazing people around you, you're really good at connecting people. Kanika says, yes, it is. Yes, it's so frustrating. If you're one of those people who's really good at connecting people, curating, you know, data and sharing information. That's kind of like one of my gifts. I don't know if you saw this past weekend, I talked about some smart ways to monetize. And one of the things I said was, you want to get crafty with your creations. I'm looking for mini-me, y'all. Always got to have the puppy in sight. Praying I'm in. Usually she's just sitting there. There she goes. She's like hopping like a little horse. It's like the cutest thing. You want to be in a space where you can find creative ways to monetize that gift. So again, if you're one of those people who are really awesome at having really smart connections or connecting people to amazing people, this topic today is for you. Okay, so when I started building websites 16 years ago, 2000, when I built my first website, Multiple Shades of You Online, it came out of a really interesting experience. At the time, I was just exposed. I was young. I was in college. I just was exposed to this amazing cartoon. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's called Hey Moni, HeyMonie. You can check it out on YouTube. You'll maybe find some of the old episodes. But Hey Moni was this animated cartoon about this black woman and her friend, and I thought it was totally hilarious, totally amazing. And I never realized I needed that until I got it. Like, I never realized that I needed, because I love watching cartoons. If anybody said, like, LaShanda, what were your 3 favorite things? I would say, cartoons, computers, and working with children. And when I saw Hey Moni, I was like, oh my God, I'd never seen a cartoon with other than Fat Albert, but like a cartoon for black women. And I was like, oh, this is so amazing. So when I found Hey Moni, it was kind of like it set me on this search. And I wanted to find other people, other content like that. I started to put in black women online. And at the time, this was 16 years ago, at the time, everything that came up was XXX. Big booty this, XXX that. And I was like, wait, no, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more Hey Moni. I'm looking for more positive. I'm looking for good. And I was not getting that connection. There was a complete disconnect. And so at that time, I created, hey, good morning, Dr. Eve. I created Multiple Shades of You Online, which has literally been on for 16 years now, my first website, as a place to show that there are multiple shades of you. We all come in different shades, different sizes. There's not just one kind of black person, one kind of woman. And in doing so, I realized there wasn't a lack of positive content for people of color. There was a lack of connection. And so I built my directory, Multiple Shades of You Online. Again, at first I was like, oh, I got to create content because it's not there. A lot of times people say, oh, it's not there, it's not there. It is there, but unfortunately sometimes in some areas and with respect to positive content for people of color, it was just so badly dispersed. And even to this day, we struggle with that, right? So the first thing that I did with respect to this strategy 20, monetization strategy 20, how to get paid to make connections, is real talk. It came out of a personal desire, but it turned into a business because I started to create a directory. I created Multiple Shades of You Online. I was looking at all of these amazing websites that other people of color had created. And then people started asking me, can I submit my content, can I submit my website to you? And I was getting paid for that. So you want to think about for yourself, is there a particular industry that you are in that you feel like there are not enough people? Maybe there are a lot of people. I mean, there are billions of people, right? Maybe there are, but they need you to be the connector, to create a directory, to create a space for them so that, it's clear they exist and people can easily find them. So that's one way. Yes, that's one way that I'll miss this after the 21 days. I'll come back. I'm always back on here doing something different. But today, again, I want to kind of open your eyes up to the possibilities of, for those of you who are like myself, are information people, you love to find information. You always like, girl, you need to talk to so-and-so. You're always connecting people. How can you do that in a way that you can monetize it, okay? As you guys know, this is really inspired by the Back to Business webinar conference, the virtual series happening over at backtobusiness.me. I say webinar and virtual because it's kind of a little bit of both. On Thursday, we kick off with the 12 live sessions from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. They're virtual, they're conference calls, and all my amazing speakers are coming on talking about different smart things that you can do to monetize, from blogging to going from, that 6-figure to 7-figure business to, even becoming a bookpreneur. So many wonderful, amazing topics. Hey, Sonia Michelle, welcome, Melinda, welcome. And so I said, in combination with doing the virtual sessions, I'm doing these webinars on how to monetize. So for every Periscope that you see here in this series, there's a webinar that goes along to it, kind of unwrapping it and going deeper into the conversation. So I want to make sure that I go through, because I've got quite a few of these today, a few examples of how you can monetize connecting people and then moving from that platform. We'll talk more about it in detail in the webinar, because this platform is great, but I love when I can show you the screen and you can see my computer, or I can take you in the back end. So there are different types of directories that you can create, right? And in the masterclass, I'll show you some of the directories that I've created for my clients and also that I've created for myself. It doesn't have to be terribly intimidating. Today, you can create a directory a lot easier than it was 16 years ago. I built mine from scratch, but I have a degree in computer science from Columbia, so I'm a techie girl. I had to build... Oh, goodness. My phone just fell out of the tripod there. I had to build my directory from scratch, but now you don't have to. It's a lot easier. So think about that for yourself. Solution number one, do you have an idea for a really amazing directory that you might potentially want to put together? It does not have to be technically overwhelming. Again, I'll talk more about that in the masterclass, but it is a great way to share your smart connections. A really good example of that is, I believe it's called Angie's List. And one of my clients, the first time we met, she said to me, LaShanda, I want to create something similar to Angie's List, where she said, you know what, I wanted to have a community where people could come on and they could rate plumbers and electricians, and they could rate people so that it made it easier for people to locally find businesses to work with when they needed help. And, even something like a Craigslist, right? Being in a space where you're helping people find the right people they can connect to, okay? So that's one thing. Directory is number one. Number two, thinking about for yourself the people who you know who are absolutely amazing at what they do and wanting to be able to share their story, wanting to be able to share their know-how and smart ways in which you can do that, right? So I've talked about a few of these before. She's such a good girl, because sometimes I am not looking, and Prettyman is so not on a leash. You're such a good girl, Mama. Say hi. She's not on a leash, but she manages to keep her behind in this cul-de-sac, which makes me very happy because I'm looking at y'all sometimes. But one of the things that you can do is to showcase the people you know and love and their areas of expertise in different creative ways. This right here is a DVD, Generation 1, and it's all about Black wealth. This particular DVD was created by Black and Married with Kids. This is, I know you said hi to Pretty, and Pretty's gone. Tyler New Media. Tyler New Media, Black and Married with Kids, created by Lamar and Ronnie Tyler. They are an amazing powerhouse couple entrepreneur. Together, they just create awesome over at blackandmarriedwithkids.com. Ronnie Tyler is one of the amazing speakers, and she's going to be live with us on Thursday talking about how you can build your own 6-figure blog based on the strategies they've used. And one of the things that they're amazing at is creating documentaries. I actually was just on Facebook and I saw a new one that they're working on blended families, because they're a blended family. So they talk about, and that's the thing. I love the synergy when I share the people in my circle, and the synergy for me with them is being in a space where they take their gifts and they take the things that they've struggled with and they've learned and they share that with the world. And me figuring out how to go from, geeky techie girl in Brooklyn, like, how do I do this, right? Where in my circle, people weren't doing technology, and being in a space where I saw that ad on Facebook, awesome. So you know what I'm talking about. Being in a space where I thought out of the box, thought out of the space in Brooklyn that I was in, and found a way to be in technology, found a way to do what I love to do, regardless of the fact that people around me didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I love that they're able to show you that as well. Like me showing my transition, they're good at showing theirs. But not only that, connecting you. Like if you look at the back here, Dr. Julian, this is I actually talked about Dr. Boyce Watkins as well. Their connections. They got some really amazing people who are experts in finances and wealth to come on this documentary to connect us to what we're missing with respect to Black wealth, and to connect us to the people who can help in that conversation. Actually, one of the amazing speakers who was a part of this, Deborah Owens, was actually one of the first people to speak on my first Back to Business Power Circle event 6 years ago, and she talked about her brand, The Power of the Purse, and what it means to be a wealthy woman. So I always make sure that I'm an amazing company, right? And there's always so many overlaps and how they work together. But this is one thing, this is Tyler New Media. They are an indie publishing company. They create their documentaries. That's one of the ways they were able to monetize outside of having the blog. Go to the website, Black and Married with Kids. They have documentaries for couples. This one in particular is about wealth. Their new one is about blended families. You could create your own documentary series. You can connect people to other amazing people with great stories. This is one. This is a physical DVD, right? And I've got a few entrepreneurs in my circle. April Franks Hunt, she came out with her DVD, self-produced DVD this year, Resilience, talking about stories of women who've gone through sexual abuse in one way, shape, or form, and being a survivor of that. I thought that was her story, not me. That's not happened to me, but her being a survivor of that, creating this documentary, bringing women together to share their stories is such a powerful thing. And you can literally, either come up with the concept if you know somebody who does film, or you can go and do your research, go to your local college, find some film geeky college students, or go on an Elan's website. You have the opportunity to connect people to amazing people that are in your circle. You just have to think out of the box. How am I going to do that, right? So one of the things I talked to you all about was different types of books that you could create, adult coloring books. We talked about sketchbooks, notebooks, and we also talked about compilations, anthologies. This one, When Women Become Business Owners, was authored by Tyora Moody. Tyora actually has a bonus session for our Back to Business series, which is awesome. You're going to get access to her bonus session when you register over at backtobusiness.me. And one of the great things, I'm actually in this book, one of the chapters I have is in this book, but Tyora connects you to literally, I want to say somewhere between 20 and 25 women entrepreneurs who have individual stories to tell about what it is to start a business from their perspective. So think about that. In your particular industry, can you say, I've got like 5 or 10 different people that they have such amazing stories. I want to do this. I want to put them in a book. I want to do some sort of compilation. Example number 1 was the DVD, Tyler New Media. But example number 2, the anthology, right? I want to connect you to these people who have so much amazing content and information to share. And I'm sharing with you different mediums, because there is no just one way to do something, right? And you can find the way that works for you. I've got quite a few publishers who are speaking for Back to Business, so I hope you registered because it's 3 days away. Tyshina Davis. Tyshina has her publishing company. Ty has her own publishing company. Carla Cannon, who's going to be talking about how to turn that hobby into a profitable business. She also has a publishing company. So these are women who, are really amazing at making connections, working with others, collaborating to create awesome, and monetizing that awesome, okay? Which is what I'm basically talking to you guys about today. Another great example is this one right here. I bought this, oh my God, I don't know how many years ago in my little apartment. This is authored by Kimberly Seals Allers. When I tell you guys this story, but some of you guys have never met me, so you'd be new to this story. But when I was pregnant with my son, I was living in Brooklyn. I was in my apartment, and I knew that I've always known when I was a kid I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always known that. And Kimberly had a different book, how to have a mocha fabulous pregnancy. And I was reading her book when I was pregnant, and she talked about one day wanting to leave the corporate world and just be with her kids and just work at home. And she did it. And I don't know why she put that in a pregnancy book, but I bought it because it was about mocha fabulous pregnancy, and I wanted a pregnancy book with a woman I felt like I identified with. And it was reading her book, knowing that she was able to successfully work at home and be a mom, that inspired me to leave my job. Fast forward a few years later, I have my own community, the BBWO Network for Women Entrepreneurs. And one day I'm approving new members, and I'm like, to my hubby, I'm like, Jay, that's Kimberly. That's Kimberly Seals Allers. She wants to join my network. What is this? And so I've had the opportunity of meeting her. I've met her several times. We've gone to events and both been at the event speaking. And I always tell her, I work at home because of you, right? But, being in a space where you're able to create these positive connections is so powerful. So after her first book, she wrote this one. And this one is, in particular, a mommy manual on turning your passion into profit. And she's got some amazing women in here, like Lisa Price, the creator of Carol's Daughter. I don't know if you guys saw a picture of me and Lisa Price. I was like, yes! She's also a Brooklyn girl. And Carol's Daughter, her first shop was literally across the street from my high school, Brooklyn Technical High School. So it's like, yes! But, this book right here, just like this one, has an amazing collection of women who are entrepreneurs, who are mommies, and the things that they did to turn their dreams into reality. So you can do just that, right? Yes, BTS, whoop, whoop, Brooklyn Tech. You can do just that for your community, whether it's in the form of creating connections. Thank you, sweetie. Whether it's in the form of creating connections by coming out with your own DVD, or in the form of creating connections by collaborating and making a book. Or last but not least, with respect to physical products anyway, I'm going to bring out one of my favorites, which is this right here. I'm not so much the book person or the DVD person, but what you'll see, and I think you'll see Deborah Owens. I told you that Deborah was in, there she goes, Deborah Owens right here. She is also in Ronnie and Tyler Lamar's documentary on wealth, and she was one of the first ladies in my power circle. I love to create connections for people so that I can say, honest, I know what I'm good at. I know that I'm good at web design and graphics and creating information products, but you need Jay Stone for branding. You need Kim Coles and Rosetta Thurman for speaking. You need Tyshina and Tyora for, book publishing. The amazing Tanya Smith. Tanya kills it when it comes to creating micro content and video. Charvette, last year she talked about podcasting. This year she's talking about Facebook marketing. Charvette is killing it with social media. So I know that for me, it's about connecting you to the people who do so much more than I do in other areas. So I want you to think about for yourself in your industry, who do you know? Who are your powerful connections? And these are just examples of how you can get paid to connect people. Whether you make a DVD, a CD, or a book, or a directory, you're in a position to share your best community with others. Okay, you're in a position to do that. So for me, writing is not necessarily something that, while I love to write, that I have the time to do all the time. I love to do these. And this actually, by the way, was the first the first one, I believe, either the first one or the second one. I think this was the second one, to be honest with you. But point being, back to business, 6 years in, right? I'm doing the 6th Back to Business virtual conference. Backtobusiness.me is where you need to go to register. You can still register. And then in doing that virtual conference, I said I'm going to connect people to other amazing women entrepreneurs. And then turning the virtual replays into a CD, I took things a step further, right? So you want to think about for yourself, because one of the days that I did, I talked about how you can get paid to speak in unconventional ways. And I said, think about it. If you know 2 other people who are amazing, good morning, thank you for joining me. If you know 2 other entrepreneurs, 2 other people who are amazing in your industry, you can connect other people to them by saying, listen, the 3 of us, we're going to do a 3-hour telesummit, right? I'm doing my Back to Business telesummit virtual conference in literally a few days, 6 years running. Virtual is one of the best ways to create an event, to connect people, to live in your purpose, to give people amazing, and to monetize it at the same time. Like, this is like passion meets profit in no other way. Passion meets profit and purpose, and you fill in all types of good and goldness, because it's not just about you. It's about all the other amazing people who get the experience, right? To get the experience, the exposure, and everything else that comes from that. I can't tell you how many people, I wish I had like a book that really documented all the connections that people have been able to make in the power circle, all the people, and I'm not just talking about speaker connections, like one speaker meeting another. I'm talking about people like coming on the call and talking to, all these amazing women, talking to Tara, talking to Jay, talking to Carol Sankar. Carol is a beast. She's going to be talking about investing. Oh my God. Talking to Kim Coles, talking to Dr. Venus. And then all of a sudden, they know your name. You don't just know their names, but they know your names. And they go, oh yeah, I remember you from Sister Santa's event. Oh yeah, you're so awesome. The power of connections. The power of connections. So, when I jump on here, it's all about that wow factor, right? For every one of these Periscopes, when I wow you with these great ideas, you should do a post and ask folks to share if they've connected from your event. I should, right? I should do that. That would be an awesome idea. You got me excited there, and I paused for a second. For all of these amazing ideas, I have a masterclass. So when you register over at backtobusiness.me, if you just register for the replays, you get access to 7 masterclasses, the Monetize Now series. So the first 7 days that I did on Periscope, I have webinars that I'm working on. I'm working on all 21 because it's a lot of work, ladies. And I've got 14 of the 21 done. I'm almost finished with the series. But if you register just for the replays over at backtobusiness.me, you get the first 7. For the live event that's happening on Thursday, you get the first 14. And then if you register for everything like a true boss, the live event replays plus access to my 5-Star Circle Mastermind for 90 days, you get access to all 21 replays. So I like to dig deeper so you can see my screen, and I can show you tools and resources and sales systems in the back end that I can't show you here on Periscope. But the wow factor is me being able to help you think out of the box as far as the possibilities. And some of you guys have emailed me and said, oh my God, I did this, LaShanda, and you did this, and I did this after your Periscope. So just listening here and being able to create connections for yourself as far as what you can do next, I think is an awesome thing. And I thank you guys for connecting and emailing me, sistersense@gmail.com, with your stories. Now, let me pause for 2 seconds here. Oh, I said to myself, I need to pause and find Prin, and she's like sitting right behind me, like, so what's up? What's good? So I showed you a few physical examples, and I showed you, or rather I spoke to you about, I know, right, she's absorbing in all the entrepreneurial activities, right? So she's going to be on the block selling doggy food. I'm about to make that hustle, mama. I'm about to flip this doggy food. Get me some bones and stuff. What is he doing? Frenemies, come here, Baba. We talking about you. Say hi, Mama. Say hi. I'm super hot, right? You ready to go inside and drink some water? Alrighty, y'all. Let me keep going. Like I said, I'm definitely going to talk more about these inside of the masterclass, but I want to share one or two more recommendations with you guys for today before I wrap up. One of the things that I want you to think about for yourself as far as connections, like I said, creating a directory. Number two, creating some sort of information product, a book, a CD, or a DVD. Number three, being smart about how you can showcase people and connect people online. It's a powerful thing to connect people online, okay? So outside of a directory, as you can see, every single year I do my Back to Business virtual telesummit. It's an opportunity to connect people to amazing speakers, an opportunity to connect people amongst themselves, right? So creating some sort of virtual event is a great way to connect people. And you don't even just have to do an event where it's a one-time thing. You can connect people on an ongoing basis. I think one of the best examples of that is one of the ladies in my circle, Charvette Mitchell of Mitchell Productions. She's a fellow web designer. She's one of my speakers. Like I mentioned, this year, Charvette is going to talk about Facebook marketing, and I am so ready because while I love on me some Periscope, I'm not too fond of Facebook Live, so she's going to come on and talk about Facebook marketing, and I tell you, I love to learn from and support and showcase those awesome entrepreneurs in my circle. Might I add, I'm a designer, she's a designer. It's all about love and support. There's enough room for everybody to eat. So she's going to be on there. Last year, she talked about podcasting being the new blogging, and I thought that was an amazing session she did last year for us. So podcasting, I want to say every month, because Charvette has been doing her podcast for a long time. Every month, Charvette has on all of these amazing speakers connecting you to the right resources, the right professionals. The same thing holds true for Rosetta Thurman, the creator of The Happy Black Woman. I need a website build. Yeah, you can email me. Email me, LaShanda Henry. You can email me, sistasense, sistasense.com. I build websites. You can also check out Charvette Mitchell Productions as well. Everybody has their own style, but you know, between the two of us, you've got two options right there. But outside of being in this space where I do virtual events, and I only do Back to Business once a year. So if you missed this year and you don't get the replays, you're gonna have to wait till next October. But another way is to create connections by having an ongoing podcast series that you do. And in a previous session, I talked about how you can strategically monetize audio recordings and some smart ways to even monetize your podcasting, not just simply monetizing with respect to ads, because that's a good way, that's a smart way. Charvette strategically has commercials inside of her podcast series, but other ways in which you could repurpose the material and monetize it too. That was another session because we're on monetization strategy 20. We're on monetization strategy 20. Tomorrow is the last day in the series, guys, but you can still watch all the videos, right? Because all the replays that I've done on Periscope are here, and then the masterclass webinars that go along with these sessions I'm doing on Periscope, you get access to those inside of Back to Business over at backtobusiness.me. All right, so short events versus long events. Do you suggest we free blog over another? Do you suggest we free blog over another? I'm not really sure what that means. I'm sorry. Could you email me? sistasense@gmail.com. And then I can check in on you. I gotta apologize because I saw a couple of emails come in, but I've got like emails with speakers, I've got emails with clients, and my inbox is crazy right now, so I haven't not gone through everything, but I'm definitely going to email and follow up with everybody that has emailed me. Welcome, Kizzy. Hello. So yes, sweetie, about the blogging question, not sure what you meant, but email me, sistasense@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, I promise. Welcome. So I'm going to go and share a few more of these recommendations with you, but I will certainly share them inside of the masterclass. But I'll leave you here with this. I want you to think about for yourself, not just connecting people to the right people, but creating connections among the people that you're trying to connect. Does that make sense? So creating groups in which larger numbers of people excuse me, can come together and network amongst themselves. It's one of my favorite things. So think about your particular industry. Think about the people in your industry that you want to showcase, number one. And number two, think about the people in your industry who are looking desperately for a tribe of like-minded individuals so that you can create a platform for them. Right now I'm working on a client project, and she is so amazing, such a powerhouse, and her website we're working on is Magical Writers Group. She's like, LaShanda, I'm like Harry Potter all day, every day. I want to create a group for misfits, for writers in the magical space, and it's just so fun working with her on that project. But she's like, I always felt different, and I knew that I loved to write, but I knew that I had that particular style of writing that I was into. So creating my Magical Writers Group is a space for me to create a space for my people. So I want you to think about that for yourself. Who are your people? And if you feel like there's not a strong enough community for them, create it. Right? Create it so that those powerful connections can be formed. So, all right, guys, we'll talk more about this inside of the masterclass. If you haven't already done so, register backtobusiness.me. It's the place to be. It's going to go down in 3 days, 12 hours, amazing speakers, and you. All right, guys, take care.